Hello and welcome to Oxford, Ohio and WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. My name's Morris Fabry. Alongside me is Lucas Vargas, and we are happy to bring you today the Michigan Wolverines showdown with the Dayton Flyers. It was a long drive. We got up at the crack of dawn, journeyed through hail, sleet, and snow, but we are here. So are the Wolverines. Just about to get this one underway. Lucas, how you feeling?
Well, like you said, it was a long journey from Ann Arbor to Oxford, but we made it nonetheless. These teams, a little bit of a delay after some of the elements you mentioned. Looks like there's a muddy warning track, at least. I'm sure the field is going to be a little slick today. You can see a couple puddles, but we're here for some morning softball, and it's March.
Yeah, the grounds crew has done an admirable job of prepping this field. Pretty good attendance for a dreary Saturday morning in mid-March, and in the circle for the Wolverines, as we're about to get things going, the Wolverines, the home team, is Sarah Schaefer, the freshman out of Des Moines, Iowa. The freshman boasts a 2.10 ERA and 0-3 win-loss percentage. Ratio. This is her fourth start of the season. The lineup she will be facing today. Leading off behind the plate for the Flyers is Kyle Davidson. Hitting second, playing third base is Kaylee Budison. Hitting third at shortstop, Kayla Haberstich. Hitting fourth, the designated hitter Abby Ehrenborg. Hitting fifth at second base, Lisa Tassi. Hitting sixth at first base, Ellie Ziegler. Hitting seventh in left field, Kelly Fitzgerald. Hitting eighth in right field, Maddie Maloof. And hitting ninth in center field, Jacqueline Quetter. Schaefer checks the armband on the inside of her left forearm. Gets the sign from the catcher, Alexander. Rocks back and delivers, and the first pitch is a changeup in there for a called strike on the outer half.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned earlier, her win-loss at 0-3. She's had a couple of really close games so far this season, especially that Texas game, for instance, where one 3-run home run was the difference. We'll see what she can do today against the Flyers.
Davidson, the catcher, already awaits. The 0-1 curveball just misses off the plate away to even the count at 1-1. Davidson, a junior, hitting .321 on the season, has one home run and 3 RBI. Schaefer back onto the rubber, looks in, gets the sign, delivers, swinging a ground ball foul down the third base line. Davidson out in front. Schaefer pulled the string a bit, and she's ahead in the count, 1-2.
So I like Schaefer starting things off for the Wolverines, give her a chance to get things going here. This is a Wolverines team that's been playing really well lately, really back to that Austin trip. They haven't actually lost since the Wichita State game of that trip.
Both sides on winning streaks. The Wolverines, winners of 12 straight. Dayton has won 3 in a row, including 2 yesterday, to start this weekend here in picturesque Oxford, Ohio. The 1-2 pitch misses high for ball 2.
Yeah, nestled in between the football stadium and the basketball arena here at the University of Miami, Ohio. It's a nice little softball field. Yeah,
the stadium appears to be sort of built into a hillside. It's a unique view. The 2-2 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul behind home plate over the screen, over the press box, just to our left. The count remains 2-2. Davidson, a junior from Lewis Center, Ohio, started pretty much all of the Flyers games last year, played volleyball, and was also on the bowling team in high school. Her sister, Abby Davidson, plays for Eastern Michigan. Schaefer gets the sign, the 2-2 on its way, swinging a tapper foul behind home plate. It was a curveball below the knees. Davidson able to protect the plate and keep the at-bat alive.
What you want out of your leadoff hitter, to be able just to extend the at-bat, kind of get a look at what this pitcher is like for the Wolverines and for the rest of the batters in the lineup. They can start to see some of her pitches as this at-bat continues.
Davidson holds the bat out in front, pulls it back, swinging a foul tip, and that one looks like it caught the catcher, Katie Alexander, on her right hand. Carol Hutchins takes a few steps out of that third base dugout to check on her.
She'll shake it off, but I think she's all right. Just a little bit of time to, like you said, shake it off. The cold could help.
Yeah, the cold will at least prevent some swelling, but it's going to sting just a little bit more. We're now into the 7th or 8th pitch of the at-bat. Davidson doing a good job of hacking and keeping this one alive. Your umpires today behind home plate is Tim Clem. Down the first base line, Tony Greer. Down the third base line is Dave Bowen. Davidson stands close to the plate toward the front of the box, awaits the 2-2 yet again. Rise ball misses high, and the count runs full on the leadoff batter for the Dayton Flyers.
High and inside, so the at-bat continues. You can tell Sarah Schaefer really wants to attack the inside of the plate, I think.
Infield and outfield shaded straight away for the Wolverines. The payoff pitch is called strike 3 on the outside corner, or maybe just a little bit off the outside corner. Either way, it caught enough of the edge for Schaefer to set down the first flyer.
I'd say
one up, one down.
I'd say her previous pitch definitely set that up, going inside a little high for that last ball, but going right outside and a little low, in fact, able to kind of work the strike zone every angle that she can for strikeout number 1.
That'll bring up Budison. The first pitch curveball misses low and away for ball 1. Budison, a senior, plays third base, hitting .246 on the season. She is out of Lisle, Illinois, also an every game starter last year for the Flyers. Budison hits from the right side, awaits. The 1-0 pitch, a called strike curveball, caught the inside half at the knees. Budison has started 141 consecutive games, or probably now 144 for the Flyers. Durable, she's majoring in operations. She rests the bat on her right shoulder, now lifts it up. The 1-1 swinging a pop-up foul, that one also over the screen behind home plate. And it's going to plunk the roof of the press box before falling behind us harmlessly. The count moves to 1-2.
Nice little thud on the roof here, but one thing I do notice the Wolverine pitchers do pretty well is I think they use the entire plate to their advantage. You know, most of the pitchers don't just focus in on, I'm going to get the outside or the inside of the plate. They are really good at diversifying their pitches.
The 1-2 curveball called strike 3. 2 up, 2 down, both via the looking K for Sarah Schaefer to start this one off against the Flyers. She is really working that outside of the plate effectively. And yeah, as you said, it's set up by her going low, going high, going inside.
You're just really able to keep the batter guessing on where that ball is going in the strike zone. And once again, going, like you said, to the outside of the plate for the strikeout, but just doing a great job of mixing things up.
That'll bring up Kayla Haberstich, a big hack and a miss at a rise ball up in the zone for strike 1. Haberstich, a shortstop senior, hitting .216 for the Flyers. Again, hits from the right side, stands with an open stance, her left foot pointing down that third base line toward Maddie Uden. Rests the bat on her shoulder, picks it up, swings, fouls one high over the screen behind home plate. The count moves to 0-2. Schaefer doing well attacking these Dayton Flyers.
So already with an 0-2 ball strike count, now she really has the opportunity to work a couple pitches, 4 balls, and set up her finishing strike potentially.
Haberstich digs back in. Schaefer gets the sign. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Sarah Schaefer has struck out the side here in the top of the first, and we will head to the bottom of the first scoreless here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you to those of you who have tuned in. It is a rather dreary 36 degrees here in Oxford, Ohio. The wind barely rippling the flag in right center field, blowing in from right center. We are grateful to be behind some thick glass windows inside a heated and insulated press box. The crowd around us, not so lucky, adorned in blankets, hats, and I see a lot of maize and blue out there.
I do. I think the Wolverines must have made that same journey we did. Maybe not at 5 a.m., quite like we were foolish enough to do, but they are here nonetheless, and they're cheering on their team. Great job by the Wolverine fans to just travel and support their team.
Yeah,
and especially for a softball team that, you know, it's an underrated sport, but one of the better teams in Michigan nonetheless.
Yeah, they always travel well, the Michigan faithful. So digging into the circle for the Dayton Flyers will be the junior righty Jessica Gillum. She has a 4.33 ERA on the season, a 3.4 win-loss percentage. She started 7 games, thrown 32.1 innings, 21 strikeouts, 12 walks. She is originally from Conifer, Colorado. She is a mechanical engineering major. The lineup she will be facing today, leading off at second base, is Faith Canfield. Hitting behind her in center field is Natalie Peters. Hitting third at first base is Tara Blanco. Hitting fourth in right field, Aiden Falk. Hitting fifth at third base, Madison Uden. Hitting sixth, the designated player, Alex Subject. Hitting seventh in left field is Haley Hoganrod. Hitting 8th behind the plate, Katie Alexander, and hitting 9th, the shortstop, Natalia Rodriguez, a lineup that has really seemed to turn a page during this 12-game win streak.
And exactly, ever since they started winning games, the bats have come alive, and Faith Canfield at times during this streak has been just unable to miss the ball, it seems like. She's at least going to put it in play, almost guaranteed, but there have been times where she has gone, 5 hits in a row, 7 hits in a row, and she is in the zone right now. And it'll be interesting to see what she can do here in Miami, but I expect her to attack the Dayton pitcher with the same energy that she has done so in the last couple of tournaments.
Canfield, a hitter with 1 walk and 1 strikeout on the season so far. She will go up to bat looking to put the ball in play. Gillum Wines delivers the first pitch, and it misses low for ball 1.
And as a leadoff hitter, just putting the ball in play is so important. It would be, if she could walk a lot, that would be helpful as well. But just the fact that she's not striking out gives her team some energy and an added advantage as a base runner.
The 1-0 pitch is a rise that misses high. Gillum's got a bit of an interesting delivery, throwing from the right side. She sort of shifts her upper body to the left before she rocks back and delivers to the plate. She'll do so again. The 2-0 Canfield takes, and it splits the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. Canfield hitting .349 on the season, leading the team with 5 home runs, also leading the team with 18 RBI out of the leadoff spot. The 2-1 on its way, swinging a fly ball shallow left. Ranging out is the shortstop, Haberstad. She bobbles it, and the ball trickles away down the left field line. Canfield takes the turn at second base, but will stop there with a leadoff double. Haberstad ranging into shallow left field. Would have been a fantastic over-the-shoulder catch. She had it in her glove, but could not quite control it as she fell to the ground.
Yeah, that was almost a phenomenal over-the-shoulder catch, but lost her footing at the very end, and the ball rolls out of the glove. Great awareness by Canfield to continue running and take second. And also a great presence of mind to not force the run to third, but just hold it second. So now the Wolverines have a runner in scoring position with no outs to start the first inning.
That'll bring up the slapper, Natalie Peters, hitting .262 on the season. The infield in at the corners. The first pitch misses off the plate away for ball 1 from Jessica Gillum.
Yeah, pretty far outside pitch there. We'll see if Natalie Peters is able to maybe draw a walk here, or if that's just an anomaly pitch.
Pretty fearsome 3-4 crew to set the table for. The 1-0 on its way, swinging a fly ball foul over the screen on the left side. Carol Hutchins demonstrating to her to keep her head in there from her spot down the third base line. Peters, a bit of drop-off in average from last year, but fellow WCBNer Kevin Klein has predicted she's going to hit 2 home runs this weekend, so we'll see about that. The 1-1, swinging a ground ball through the left side. It's a base hit. Canfield will only go as far as third base. It was off the glove of a diving Haberstad. Would have been a very tough play. I don't think she would have had Peters at first, but maybe would have held Canfield at second. Either way, a no-out single. The Wolverines have runners at the corners with no outs.
Yeah, like you said, a potential tag out or hold at second for Faith Canfield, but somehow the ball's able to skirt between 2 Dayton defenders. Very tight window. I'm not quite sure how the ball did get through there, but a little bit of a slow reaction from the Dayton third baseman and shortstop, and now the Wolverines man the hot corners.
Yeah, the ball had eyes. It was a good piece of hitting from the slapper, Natalie Peters. That brings up Tara Blanco. The senior first baseman awaits the first pitch from Gillum. Right down the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. Blanco hitting .324 on the season. 3 home runs, 12 RBI. Golden chance to add to that total.
A very competitive player, as we all know. She is definitely going to be looking to start the Wolverines off with at least 1 run here.
Gillum rocks back the 0-1. Another called strike. Looked like she took something off of it. Caught the outside corner. Good pitch there. She's ahead in the count. One thing about Tara Blanco, she does not get cheated. She'll be swinging hard even with 2 strikes.
No, she's going to wait for the pitch that she likes as well. That pitch, a little low strike, but if she didn't like it, she'll wait for one she does.
The 0-2 swinging a rocket foul into the parking lot down the right field line. The parking lot elevated about 10, 15 feet above the field level. Again, an interesting setup that they have building this stadium into the hillside. 0-2 the count. 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Gillum winds the 0-2 yet again. Just missed off the outside corner. Looked like a similar spot to the calls Schaefer got in the top half of the first, but Gillum not so lucky.
I thought Gillum might have had it on that pitch, but just barely missed it. Blanco gets a little lucky.
We'll call it a good eye. We count 1-2. Swinging a fly foul off the top of the screen on the right side. That pitch down in the zone. Blanco just able to fight it off.
Yeah, Blanco, very experienced player, obviously. Being the senior from California, she has seen a lot of different pitches, and she knows how to keep at-bats alive.
Gillum, the pitcher, a graduate of Colorado Academy in Colorado, where she went to high school. It was a military school from 1906 to 1955. The 1-2 swinging a foul down the right field line. The school became coeducational finally in 1971. That was another pitch low that Blanco was able to fight off. I've done a ton of research on just miscellaneous facts about like the high schools that these Dayton players went to because I had a slow day at work yesterday. So I'm going to be spitting that over the course of the broadcast.
Hey, you know what they say about March? It's like, what, these couple weeks, the least productive times at work?
Yeah.
The people that put out the stats, how much money is lost in productivity during this week especially.
Yep. All about those softball tourneys. The 1-2 swinging a moonshot down the left field line. It's going to make its way foul and out of play. Not sure whether or not that one had home run distance, but Blanco
close.
Able to turn on a pitch up and in. I think it's about 4 straight foul balls with 2 strikes.
She's definitely getting loose at the plate. She's gearing up to rip one, that's for sure.
The 1-2 on its way. Off speed, misses high and outside. The changeup from Gillum does not get the bat off of Tara Blanco's shoulders. The count runs to 2-2 with 2 on and nobody out. Gillum searching, probing, but can't quite get Blanco to chase and miss out of the zone. The 2-2 on its way. Called strike 3. The runner goes down to second. The throw in time. Caught stealing. The throw now home. Not in time. Canfield will score on the strike him out, throw him out, double play. That was pretty clearly the purpose of sending Peters there to try to get a throw to send Canfield home, but I think the Dayton Flyers will gladly take 2 outs in exchange for the 1 run.
Right, it's a sacrificial game in some aspects here with, like you said, trading basically 2 batters and slash base runner for a run. The Wolverines will take it, though, and they will take a 1-0 lead at the moment. And it's encouraging to start off the tournament with a run early on.
That'll bring up the lefty, Aiden Falk. Yeah, I think it's sort of a mutually beneficial deal. The Flyers will be glad to get out of a jam. The Wolverines will be glad to get a run in. But really a dime of a throw from the catcher Davidson, right on the money. Easy.
Really good plays by both teams if you want to look at it that way. I think a good strikeout and then, like you said, throw to second. And just the IQ of the whole Michigan team to work together on that sequence and get Canfield home as well. The throw home wasn't too off target either, just a little bit slow.
Yeah, it's just the time Canfield is a speedy runner down at third base.
And the slide to second occupies the second baseman to throw a little bit as well.
Yeah, got to make sure that tag is registered. The 1-1 now to Falk after she fouled off the 1-0 pitch is a curveball that misses off the plate low and away. The count moves to 2-1 with nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. The Wolverines lead the Dayton Flyers 1-0 here in Oxford, Ohio. Gillum looks in, gets the sign, rocks back. The 2-1, swinging a foul back to the screen. That was a curveball in on the hands of Aiden Falk. The best she could do was to fight it off.
Yeah, Aiden Falk with a strong 366 average so far in the year. They're definitely looking for big things out of the senior pair from her and Blanco, I would say.
Back-to-back in the order, looking to drive in some runs. The 2-2, rise ball just never really caught that right, did Gillum, as it misses well high. The count runs full on Falk. Falk far more prone to strike out than she is to walk. 16 strikeouts on the season, 1 walk. Looking to start a 2-out rally for the Wolverines. The 3-2, swinging a rocket, snagged on the backhand by the second baseman, Tassie. She flips over to first for the final out of the inning. Well hit from Aiden Falk, but doesn't find a hole, and that'll do it for the Wolverines in the bottom of the first. We head to the top of the second. The Wolverines lead the Flyers 1-0 here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. It's a nice play there by Lisa Tassi. Didn't need a ton of range to get there, but still sometimes it can be tough to make sure you get your body and your glove in front of that ball and smother it in order to get Falk at first.
Well, it looks like they almost caught Tassi in a shift. It looked like she was headed more towards that first base area, and the contact made by Falk was just close enough for her to be able to make a play on it. She was almost able to hit around the shift, which likely would have landed her on first base, but nonetheless, a good adjustment made by Lisa Tassi to end the first inning.
Yeah, you see varying degrees of shifts against any given hitter, but the outfields against Falk always need to stay straight away because she's got power to both fields. So Schaefer back out into the circle for the Wolverines. She has yet to do anything other than strike out the Dayton Flyers today. She'll be facing Abby Ehrenborg, Lisa Tassi, and Ellie Ziegler.
And still looking for her first win on the year, but I think she's had some good stuff that she's thrown. I mean, only a 2.1 ERA. It's not like she's getting rocked every single game, you know. She is holding her own, and like I said earlier in the broadcast, just taking a couple really tough losses, plays that could have gone either way here or there, that result in a close loss for her.
Yeah, she's been rock solid. Ehrenborg, a righty freshman, hitting .239 on the season, awaits the first pitch, swings, and rips a grounder foul out in front of that one down the third base line. Ehrenborg hails from Mechanicsburg, Ohio. Guess who founded Mechanicsburg, Ohio?
Who?
Mechanics.
Wow. Trivial knowledge.
Yeah. She went to Triad High School, set a school record for RBI with 46 in her junior year. The 0-1, swinging a line drive back up the middle. That's going to be a base hit, the first of the game for the Flyers. Ehrenborg aboard to lead things off for the Flyers here in the top of the second.
Well, you mentioned the impact she made at her high school level. Makes the first real impact on the offensive end for the Flyers this afternoon. A good hit into the hole between the shortstop and the second baseman there. Just enough speed on it to get past the Michigan shortstop, who is Natalia Rodriguez, rotating over.
Per Wikipedia, Mechanicsburg was used as a station on the Underground Railroad pre-Civil War.
Really?
The conductor, Udney Hyde, is credited with helping more than 500 fugitive slaves on their way to freedom through Mechanicsburg, Ohio. So, fun fact about Mechanicsburg, we're learning about America. Pinch runner on first base for the Flyers will be number 20, Morgan Matea. At the plate now is the second baseman, Lisa Tassi. The first pitch from Schaefer, curveball, misses maybe a bit high, maybe a bit outside for ball one. Tassi, the second baseman, a junior, hitting .164 on the season. She hit .315 last year, however. Infield in at the corners for the Maize and Blue. The 1-0 curveball called strike at the knees on the outer half. The count evens at 1-1. The sky darkening a bit. The lights are on here in Oxford. Tassi hails from Naperville, Illinois. The 1-1 on its way. Curveball misses low for ball two. Naperville Central is the high school that she attended. And per Wikipedia, it is the only high school in the United States to have its own Egyptian mummy. Its name, apparently, is Butch.
Butch. Well, it's an interesting history class that they probably have then.
A bunt attempt. She misses. Tassi misses. The runner, Matea, took a big lead off of first base, but no one covering, so all Alexander can do is threaten the throw back down. The count runs to 2-2 now on Lisa Tassi. In 2008, Naperville Central fired their principal when he plagiarized a speech he gave to graduating students. Now a ground ball up the middle. Sliding stop by Natalia Rodriguez. The flip to second is in time. What a play from the freshman shortstop to get the force out for the first out here in the top of the second.
So you're trying to tell me this dude plagiarized a graduation speech?
Yeah, it was written by a former student, in fact. But let's focus on the action at hand. Natalia Rodriguez, fantastic play, ranging up the middle to her left. Dove to the dirt, managed to get the ball out of her glove into her right hand, a backhand flip to the covering Canfield.
Well, the ball that slipped by her in the at the beginning of the inning, you know, she's able to make this play this time and get the out at second for the pinch runner that replaced the girl that hit behind her.
Yep, Matea goes down. Lisa Tassi now at first base, and hitting for the Flyers is Ellie Ziegler. She takes the first pitch, a curveball low for ball one. The righty holds the bat out in front, pulls it back, swings, and taps one foul behind home plate. The count even at 1-1 with one on and one out in a 1-0 ball game here in the top of the second. Ziegler, a sophomore, hitting .224 on the season. She hails from River Forest, Illinois, which, per Wikipedia, has been home to many notorious Italian organized crime families since the early 20th century. That's like the first sentence on the description of River Forest on
Really?
Wikipedia.
Huh.
Yep, she's majoring in sports administration.
That's similar to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Infield in at the corners for the Maize and Blue. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball misses high for ball two.
What city did you say it was? How far from Chicago is that?
She's from River Forest. Went to Oak Park and River Forest High School, which boasts alumni such as Dan Castellaneta of The Simpsons, Ray Kroc of McDonald's fame, and Ernest Hemingway. So she comes from a high school with some illustrious alumni. We'll see if she can make her impact on this game. The 2-1 holds the bat out, bunts it, popped up foul off the screen behind home plate. That one a riser up and in from Sarah Schaefer. Tough to put that one down.
Almost looked like Schaefer just aimed at her bat and threw it about as hard as she could, and was hoping for the foul ball in that scenario, which she was able to get to put the count at 2-2.
Yeah, she was half dodging, half attempting to do her job. Now with two strikes, a bunt less likely. Schaefer rocks back, delivers, swing and a miss. Rise ball up and out of the zone. Got Ziegler to chase for the second out of the inning. And that is Sarah Schaefer's fourth strikeout of the game, recording 5 outs so far. And it looks like a drizzle is starting to fall.
Yeah, there's a big umbrella right in front of us, actually.
Not obscuring the view, fortunately. That'll bring up the left fielder, Kelly Fitzgerald. First pitch from Schaefer is skied on the infield. Should be a can of maize for Natalia Rodriguez. The shortstop ranges to her right and makes the catch on the infield dirt for the final out of the top of the second. We head to the bottom of the second, Michigan, with a 1-0 lead over the Dayton Flyers here with increasingly arduous conditions in Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah, braving the elements, but, that's just part of the game. And I feel like every time I come to a tournament, there's some weird weather situation. Down in Austin, there was fog, rain, lightning, little wind. And here we've got at least the clouds and the light drizzle. This time the cold is more of a factor, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it doesn't get any more serious than what we're seeing right now. The grounds crew has already done a Herculean effort to prepare this field for us. Gillum back out in the circle for the Flyers. Got off to a bit of a rough start, but able to right the ship. Has only faced 4 batters through 1 inning. The lineup she will face leading off is Maddie Uden. After her, Alex Subject and Haley Hoganrod. Now, Maddie Uden is probably, on the offensive side of things, the biggest story in the last week or two for the Michigan Wolverines. Absolutely red hot last weekend in Boca Raton. Got her average up to .396, and more importantly, got some production from the third base spot, which the Wolverines had been struggling to find throughout the season.
She's really coming into her own and really finding a rhythm that she is comfortable playing in. She has done a phenomenal job, especially over this win streak for the Wolverines, and now boasting a .396 batting average, which is incredible. We'll look to build on that even more.
Home plate umpire Tim Clem grooming home plate so that it is visible and dirt-free, as the rest of the players, umpires, coaches, and fans are ready for us to get underway here in the bottom of the second. Outfield shading Uden straight away. Infield in at the corners. First pitch, change up off the plate away for ball 1.
Yeah, Gillum really does like to attack that outside towards the left side of the catcher.
The 1-0 rise ball misses high for ball 2.
It does seem like the majority of her pitches kind of head that direction.
Uden 14 strikeouts to 3 walks on the year, but had one of the bigger walks of the season for the Wolverines, a bases-loaded walk-off walk to beat Ball State. The 2-0 called strike at the knees. The count moves to 2-1 with nobody on and nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Gillum looks in, gets the sign working quickly. The 2-1, swinging a foul back to the screen. Looked like a breaking ball that hung high and outside, but Uden could not barrel it up, and the count runs to 2-2. Madison Uden, a sophomore out of Glendale, Arizona. Her sister Taylor, a senior at Indiana. Apparently they text all the time, and now Uden will have the inside scoop on the Flyers if Indiana ever plays them. The 2-2 changeup fouled back to the screen. Uden stays alive.
I wonder how many times they're actually able to do that, trade off some information on a non-conference foe.
There's probably not a lot of shared foes between the two teams, but I actually talked to Maddie Uden on Wednesday. You can hear that interview on East of the Rockies, our Michigan softball podcast, but here and now the 2-2 pitch misses low and away for ball 3. But yeah, East of the Rockies, you can find it on SoundCloud or on iTunes. Last week, interviewed Maddie Uden, Haley Hoganrod, Tara Blanco, and Carol Hutchins. All very strong interviews. She said that she hasn't yet really exchanged scouting info with her sister. The payoff pitch, half cut and a miss, change up in the dirt, good location there from Gillum. Got Uden on strikes. So 1 up, 1 down for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the second, and that's going to bring up Alex Subject. Subject, the junior, has had an up and down tenure as a Wolverine in her career so far. She's hitting .237 on the season. First pitch from Gillum, misses in the dirt for ball 1. Nice little scoop by the catcher Davidson. The infield shading Subject maybe a little bit toward the right side.
Yeah,
more or less straight away.
They really scoot the second baseman. Dayton does over, I think, really close to the first baseman.
Yeah, there's a hole, maybe sort of up the middle, somewhat angled toward the second or toward the right side. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike on the outer edge, about belt high. The count now 1-1. Pitch on its way, swinging a ground ball toward the right side, ranging to her right as Haberstich. The long throw to first, not in time. Subject beats it out. And I think that might have been the conditions coming into play there as Haberstich's cleats slipped just a little bit as she ranged to her right. Almost made a fantastic play, but Subject on first.
It definitely looked like she anticipated the shift properly, but she was unable to find her footing properly. And you're right, just get enough oomph on the throw and get it to first in time. It skipped in there and a little late.
And I do have to make a correction. That was Morgan Matea at shortstop. Swing and a pop-up down the left field line. A diving attempt by the left fielder, Kelly Fitzgerald. Not going to get that as it lands foul off the bat of Haley Hoganrod. Looking to get on with a first pitch knock. But yeah, Matea came in as a pinch runner last inning, and accordingly the defenses have been shifted. Thankfully, I have a Dayton, I think, athletic department member next to me who corrected me. Anyway, that was Morgan Matea almost making a really nice play in the hole.
Very close.
The count now, 0-1 on Hoganrod. The righty stands toward the back of the box, holds the bat above her helmet. Pitch misses high. The runner goes. The throw down to second, not in time. It's a stolen base for Alex Subject. Didn't get the greatest of jumps, but Davidson double-clutched that throw just a bit, and it was enough for Subject to get in with
a slight hesitation, and then it was a little short and a little high, and allowed the steal to get just in behind the shortstop coming over. So good execution by the Wolverines.
The 1-1, swinging a ground ball toward the right side. Backhanded stop by the first baseman, Ziegler. So she'll step on the bag at first. It moves the runner to third. And now with 2 outs, that will bring up Katie Alexander.
That could have been more of a sacrificial hit for Haley Hoganrod down the first base line. Probably not expecting to get on base, but by advancing the runner on second, now the Alex Subject is on third base, and the Wolverines Could look to bring home one more run. They do have 2 outs, though.
Gillum winds. The first pitch to Alexander misses just a bit high, maybe outside for ball 1. Yeah, as a hitter with a runner on second with fewer than 2 outs, you're still looking to drive the ball because it grounded to the right side. Still leaves you with 2 outs, but you're sort of trying to get it to that right side. So even if you fail, you're moving up the runner, getting something done. The 1-0 on its way. Curveball started outside and stayed there for ball 2.
And this is Katie Alexander up batting now. She has really turned it on as well, kind of with the whole rest of the Wolverine bats, but she has definitely upped her pace at the plate and come up in some big moments.
The 2-0 swinging a pop-up. That one foul, going to make its way out of play on the third base side. Lands with a thud on the grass behind a railing just beyond the bleachers to our left. Alexander, the Saline slugger out of Saline, Michigan, hitting .273 on the season, 2 home runs, 9 RBI. The wind now blowing a little stronger, more right to left now. Infield shaded away. The outfield is shaded a little toward the right side. The 2-1 pitch, changeup called strike. Good location. That one actually came back from the outside over the plate, out of the right arm of Gilliman. She's back even in the count, 2-2 with 2 outs, and Alex Subjack on third base for the Wolverines. Looking to add to their 1-0 lead. The 2-2 on its way. Check swing. Appeal down to first base, and she went. Strike 3, says first base umpire Tony Greer. It was another off-speed offering, up and out. A good idea to take on it, but Alexander not quite able to hold up, and that'll do it for the Wolverines' threat in the bottom of the second. We head to the top of the third. The Wolverines still holding on to a 1-0 lead over the Flyers here in Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think that is the first time that I've ever actually seen the first base ump call a check swing.
You mean not say that she didn't go?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a strike. I think that I have never, ever actually seen that happen before.
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty borderline. I don't think it was necessarily a bad call. But yeah, I guess it's not something you see too often. Something I love as maybe a guy who was more of a Tigers fan, still a bit of a Tigers fan, but I love seeing Miguel Cabrera appeal down to first himself after a check swing as if to, say, yeah, you saw it too. I didn't go. Alexander did not do that. It was more of the catcher, Davidson, and then the umpire. Behind home plate, Tim Clem.
Well, I really feel like those guys just are never inclined to call it as a swing, Like I've just literally, in all the years that I've watched baseball or softball or whatever, I've never actually seen that umpire call the check swing as a strike.
I got to say, I umpired for a couple years. I can't say that I ever did that when I was on a 2-man crew. So leading things off for the Dayton Flyers, the first lefty hitter in the lineup will be the right fielder, Maddie Maloof. She'll be followed by Jacqueline Quetter, and then the top of the order in Kyle Davidson.
Yeah, not much going on the base paths so far for the Flyers. They did have that one hit last inning, but Sarah Schaefer doing a great job to minimize any potential damage. And she's done a great job striking batters out today.
First pitch in there, curveball, backdoor for a called strike on the outside corner to the lefty Maloof. Maloof, a junior, hitting .190 on the season for the Flyers. Hails from Indianapolis, Indiana. Started 26 games last year. The 0-1 swinging a pop-up foul caught by a fan in that grassy area to the left of the bleachers. Nice hands. Love to see that.
It's another ball that heads to that area. Some more souvenirs for the fans.
Maloof fighting off a pitch low and away there. The count runs to 0-2. Sarah Schaefer has done good work so far for the Wolverines. Her 0-2 pitch. Rise ball starts high, stays high. Maloof takes for ball 1.
A little high, but a lot of room to work with this count. Maybe setting up her next pitch.
Maloof hails from Hamilton Southeastern, where she hit .549 as a senior in high school. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul over the screen behind home plate. 2 other notable Hamilton Southeastern alumni, Zach Irvin, Michigan's own, and, well, I guess Hamilton Southeastern's own, who then went to Michigan. And then Gary Harris, who went to Michigan State, now plays for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I'd say one of the Michigan State basketball players that has actually really made a good name for himself in the NBA.
Yeah, one of like 2.
I'd say, It's kind of weird like that, right? A lot of Michigan State basketball players that are very good college players.
But 1-2 swing and a 2-hopper to short. Natalia Rodriguez. Fields flips over to first for the first out of the inning. Routine bounce out for Maloof. 1 up, 1 down for the Flyers in the top of the third. But yeah, they're going to have 2 more chances, hopefully, after this season to, have some Tom Izzo players be duds in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, it is March, so it's appropriate to talk about some college basketball.
First pitch swinging a line drive foul down the third base line from the lefty Jacqueline Quetter. Quetter, a senior, playing center field, hitting 159 on the season for the Dayton Flyers. Schaefer had to get a new ball, not checking her forearm band.
Yeah, not liking the dirty balls, especially when they get muddy down on the warning track.
The 0-1 pitch is swung on and slapped on 2 hops over to Blanco at first base. She fields and steps on the bag. 2 routine groundouts to start off the top of the third for the Dayton Flyers.
It's about as easy as it gets for Tara Blanco to just scoop it up off the dirt and take 1 step back for out number 2.
Schaefer not letting these Dayton hitters get comfortable. That'll bring up Kyle Davidson, the leadoff hitter for the Flyers, looking to get something started. She's 0 for 1 today. The first pitch is swung on, golfed into left center field. Hoganrod will settle under it and make the catch for the final out of the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning. Schaefer's second in 3 innings. She shut out the Flyers through 3. We head to the bottom of the third. Michigan still leading 1-0 here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball.
Just 1 base runner so far for the Flyers. I'd say Sarah Schaefer might not like standing out in the cold too much. She'll let her pitches bring some heat to the plate, and then she'll head back to the dugout where she can put her jacket back on.
Yeah, they got some. They better have some space heaters down there. Be nearly criminal if they did not. Looks like Gillum will come back out to the circle for the Flyers. She's done a solid job of stymieing these Wolverine bats for the most part. Pitching and defense has not been a problem for the Flyers. They're at 7-12 on the season. Before the recent 3-game win streak, they had a string where they had scored only 1 run in 6 games, but they weren't getting blown out in those games. They were, I think 4 out of 5 games were 1-0 losses, maybe a 3-1 here, a 4-1 there. This is a pitching staff and a defense that, can compete with pretty much any team in softball. The lineup just wasn't keeping the pace up, but the last 3 games they seem to have found their stride a bit.
Truthfully, it sounds a little bit like the Michigan Wolverines in some aspects. Had some troubles on the offensive end at the beginning of the year, but it looks like they've started to figure those out. I look back to that Austin, Texas trip where they had very close losses to the Longhorns and the Hokies, but then they were able to run rule Wichita State, and from then on the Bats have just been working together and driving in runs for the Wolverines. I'd say that every team that can solve the defense and the pitching at the beginning of the year, then the batting will take care of itself.
It's, I think, a sound principle. The Wolverines certainly hope it's true. Natalia Rodriguez, the slapper leading things off for the Maize and Blue, lays down a bunt between home and first, fielded by Gillum. The throw over the glove of, I think that was the second baseman, Tassie, covering it into right field. I think Natalia Rodriguez had that beat out anyway. It's a leadoff single to start things off for the Maize and Blue.
Yeah, great cover by number 11, the center fielder, or rather the right fielder, Maddie Maloof, for the Flyers. Great job covering, or else that could have been a lot more damaging for the Flyers.
Yeah, good spacing between home plate and the rubber from the freshman Rodriguez. That brings up Faith Canfield. First pitch swinging, pop-up shallow right. Coming on to make a catch on the run is the right fielder, Maddie Maloof. She gestures toward first, but Rodriguez not too far off will get back. So now 1 out for the Wolverines.
Yeah, we did mention Canfield will put the ball in play. A hard hit, almost a line drive-ish type hit towards Maloof again, but she's there to make the play. You still like the aggressiveness and the ability to make contact with the pitch from Faith Canfield.
Yeah, not a lot of patience, but I always like a good first pitch swing. That'll bring up Natalie Peters. She's 1 for 1, as was Canfield. First pitch to her from Gillum. She takes. Rise ball misses high for ball 1. Peters, a ground ball single that barely got through the hole on the left side in her first at-bat. The infield shaded in at the corners. You could call it double play depth up the middle. The outfield also in on the slapper Peters. The 1-0. Check swing, throw down to second. Runner goes. The ball trickles out of the glove of the shortstop, Matea. I think she might have had that tag on Rodriguez in time, but just worked a little too quickly getting the catch tag and couldn't hold on. A stolen base for Matea Rodriguez.
How about Natalie Peters swinging a good 1 or 2 seconds after the ball had already gone by her as a way to maybe try and throw off the catcher's throw to second?
Yeah, that's the instruction. Gotta swing. The 1-1. Peters takes. It's a curveball in under the hands for a called strike. The count moves to 1-2. Yeah, you're eating the. Hutch might sub you out mid at if you don't swing to protect the runner on a stolen base.
So better late than never, and it did work out.
Yeah, the second stolen base on the day for the Wolverines. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a slow roller over to short. Matea fields, fires to first, not in time. Peters beats out what looked like a routine ground ball for her second base hit of the game.
That shortstop area looks like maybe their cleats still not getting the traction they want, but also I think
it's tough.
The hesitation also from, should I tag out Rodriguez, who did come out off of second a little bit. Should I tag her out or should I make the throw? Might have caused a little bit of a split second, that was needed to be made.
That brings up Tara Blanco, 2 on 1 out. The first pitch, big swing and a miss from the righty Blanco.
She wanted it all right there.
Yeah, who can blame her? But yeah, that's also the wheels combined on the base paths going to work. First, Rodriguez planting the seed of doubt in the back of Matea's mind, and then Peters just jetting down to first base. Getting that run up as a slapper gives you a head start, and she made good use of it.
Yeah, I'd say 2 of the faster
The 0-1 check swing ground ball to second. Tassie flips to short one. The relay to first. A wild throw goes into the Flyers dugout. That would have been in time to get the final out of the inning on a ground ball double play, but instead the throw from Morgan Matea, the shortstop, goes wild. Blanco down to second. The run scores. The Wolverines will take it. It's a 2-0 lead. That run coming on the error from the Flyers shortstop. Matea, since subbing in for Abby Ehrenborg on the base paths, and then coming out to shortstop, has not exactly covered herself in glory in this game.
No, I think the Wolverines are starting to really figure that out. Maybe try and find ways to at least aim their hits in her general vicinity.
Yeah, I can't say Blanco was doing that much. That was an accidental grounder. But the result is the same. 2-0 Wolverines lead. That brings up Aiden Falk. First pitch, change up off the plate away for ball 1.
Well, at the very least, they're making her think a lot about, especially when they have a runner on second base, with the way that those base runners are playing with a shortstop, and as far as their leadoffs go and whatnot.
Well, she is a freshman. Sometimes freshmen make freshman errors. The 1-0 change-up swing and a fly ball skied foul on the third base side and out of play. I think she'll have a chance to make up for it in the lineup in the top half of the inning, unless they put Ehrenborg back in. After 2.5 years of covering this sport, I'm still not familiar with all the lineup machinations. The 1-1, curveball off the plate inside, good take from the senior Falk. The count moves to 2-1.
Yeah, really deep inside, and Aiden Falk is showing some patience at this at-bat.
She had a rocket of ground out to the second baseman, Lisa Tassie, in her first at-bat. Blanco, the runner on second, 2 outs, 2-1 the count on Falk. The pitch on its way from Gillum. Hard rise ball off the plate away. The count runs to 3-1 now on Aiden Falk, with Madison Uden waiting on deck for the Wolverines. The infield near the grass with both Matea and Tassie up the middle. The corners also a few steps behind each bag. Falk not exactly fleet of foot. The 3-1 swinging a foul back to the screen, just missed that one, and the count runs full. Good off-speed work from Jessica Gillum. She hasn't given in much to these Wolverines hitters. She's more than done her job out there in the circle.
No, she is definitely holding her own. I think it's been mostly the errors and missed throws that have hurt the Flyers the most.
The payoff pitch, curveball misses way low and away. That one probably slipped out of the hand of Gillum. Falk down to first base. Relatively harmless walk, but it puts another runner on for Madison Uden here with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, Uden, she was unable to reach base, but still with such a high at-bat percent right now, she could do some damage if she's given the opportunity.
Yeah, she does have a hot bat. The infield moves back in against the lefty Uden. The first pitch from Gillum, swing and a miss. An ugly cut. Uden out in front and reaching for that changeup off the plate away. The count 0-1 on the Michigan sophomore. The Wolverines rocking white tops, blue bottoms with a maize stripe down either side and blue sleeves. The 0-1 on its way, swinging a foul back to the screen. Gillum again attacking the outside part of the plate. Uden doesn't really look like she has her legs behind her when she's just sort of fighting those off.
Right now that puts her in a deep count hole already, an 0-2 count here at the bottom, or rather the top of the 4th inning, or third, bottom of the 3rd inning, my bad.
The 0-2, rise ball misses high for ball 1. The count now 1-2 with 2 on and 2 out for Madison Uden. Alex Subject awaits on deck. The Wolverines with 2 runs, 5 hits. No errors, Dayton. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Gillum gets the sign. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Uden down on strikes for the 2nd time in this game. And the Wolverines score 1 in the bottom of the 3rd, but do no further damage. We head to the top of the 4th. The Wolverines sporting a 2-0 lead over the Flyers here in Oxford, Ohio.
It's a great job by Gillum to get out of another tough situation with a runner on second and a runner on first. She is not going to let this game get out of hand if she can prevent it from doing so. But the Wolverines have shown great pitching so far in this game, and if they're able to just add a couple more runs, they should feel pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, given the performance of the Wolverines rotation this year, Sarah Schaefer's got an ERA of 1.89 on the season, and that's the highest ERA in the Michigan rotation. It really is a devastating triple threat the Wolverines can put out there in the circle. So while this 2-0 lead is something that can change with a hit batsman and a home run, one swing of the bat type of stuff, you still have to feel confident about it as the Wolverines. They've won sort of a plethora of 1-run, 2-run games lately in addition to the big blowout wins, but I think the Wolverines can feel as confident with a lead as any other team in the country, no matter how big it is.
And they've felt good at pitching and defending all season long. It's just been whether they can get enough runs to really, just 1 or 2 runs is all they usually need to win in the first place.
But of course, you always prefer to have more.
Right, exactly.
and that's why the Wolverines are still trying to score.
But having two early runs does make a big difference. I think Sarah Schaefer will do what she can to protect that 2-0 lead.
Kaylee Budison, the 2-hitter for the Flyers, leading things off from the right side, swinging a rocket back up the middle. The 2nd hit of the game for the Dayton Flyers. The 2nd leadoff hit for the Flyers. Seems like every even inning they lead off with a single up the middle.
I truthfully didn't think that the Wolverines looked very ready for that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be ready for a rocket back up the middle.
They just kind of stood there.
I don't think there's anything Rodriguez could have done. Either way, pinch hitting now for the Dayton Flyers is number 5, Hannah Harity, a freshman. Going to look up some info on her because, frankly, I didn't research her. She's out of Libertyville, Illinois. Harity hitting .500 on the year. She's 1 for 2. Infield in at the corners for the Wolverines. I'd say a sacrifice bunt is rather likely here.
Right, I'd expect the Flyers to just try and get a runner into a favorable position.
Harity squares, offers at it, misses. Curveball ducks under the bat, and the count moves to 0-1 on the Dayton Flyers righty.
You seem to be correct, though, with the intended strategy of the sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, it might be a savvy move to pull back and try to line one past a drawn-in infield. We see it happen sometimes.
Have seen it a couple of times.
The 0-1 squares, lays it down foul, bounces behind home plate, and now the count 0-2. You don't really have that option anymore.
No.
Beautison, the runner at first base, getting a healthy lead. She does not have a stolen base yet this year. Schaefer gets the sign from Alexander. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Harity down 1-2-3. 2 foul bunts and a swing and a miss for the first out of the inning for Sarah Schaefer.
Yes, Sarah Schaefer now 12 batters faced and 5 strikeouts.
Strong stuff from the freshman. That'll bring up another freshman, Morgan Matea, the shortstop. First pitch curveball misses off the plate, away for ball 1. Matea has had 13 at-bats this year, 5 hits. Strong work from the freshman. She has not been sterling defensively today, but now has a chance to make up for it.
Right, she's been put in some tough positions on the defensive end.
Swinging a ground ball off the glove of Schaefer in the circle. She knocks it down, picks it up, flips to first for the out, moving down to second on the play will be Kaylee Beautison.
Schaefer able to stay calm and collected, just deflect the ball down and flick it over to Tara Blanco at first base. She definitely wants to get out of the cold, I'd say again.
It was a hard one-hopper. Looked to land about where Schaefer's glove was naturally positioned after her follow-through from the rubber. That brings up Lisa Tassi. First pitch to her, curveball down and away for ball 1. Tassi, the second baseman, hit a hard grounder up the middle in her last at-bat. That was probably the defensive play of the game so far, and Natalia Rodriguez's sprawling stop and flip to second for the fielder's choice. The 1-0, swinging a rocket, gloved on the fly by Maddie Uden, and a casual flip of the ball back toward the circle after recording the final out of the inning.
Not much of a celebration from her at all. She looks like that's a routine play for her, I'd say.
Just total nonchalance after stabbing an absolute screamer right off the dirt.
Wow.
I love the look on her face, like, yeah, this is everyday stuff.
She just flicked it and headed back.
Been there, done that.
I love it.
The Wolverines probably catch a break there. Tassi absolutely tattooed that one down the third base line. But Schaefer gets out of the frame. Her 4th straight shutout inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Michigan with a 2-0 lead over the Dayton Flyers. It's turned into a pitcher's duel between Jessica Gillum and Sarah Schaefer.
The Wolverines able to take advantage of enough Dayton Flyer errors and mistakes to tack on 2 runs so far in this game. They're going to need to stay aggressive to just make sure that Dayton doesn't have a chance to really crawl back into this game. But the defense certainly doing their job. And what you really love right now is to see the offense play a complete game and just find ways to keep putting runners on base and keep pressuring the Flyers. Also to just show that your offense can stay engaged for an entire game as we approach conference play.
It'll be the bottom of the order getting things started for the Maize and Blue. Alex Subject followed by Haley Hoganrod and Katie Alexander against Gillum. And yeah, this game thus far has been sort of decided in the margins. A ball that finds a hole here. One side making sparkling defensive plays, the other side maybe a bit of a letdown on that end, and that's the difference in the game. It's not like Michigan has been bashing the ball into the gaps.
No, not at all.
So Gillum looks and gets the sign. The first pitch of the bottom of the 4th. Curveball just misses low for ball 1. Subject. An infield single to the left side in her first at-bat. Average moved up to 256 on the year. They're shading her toward that left side hole. Swinging a foul off of the inside of, I think, her left ankle.
Those are the painful ones.
Mm-hmm.
She responded with the according emotion. Just kind of hit the dirt. Trying to walk it off right now.
Yeah, she's tough. She'll battle it out.
Yeah.
That's it won't swell as much. Nice and cold out there. It's gonna sting though.
It's like having an ice pack.
Hutch bouncing on her tiptoes, looking for Subject to do the same.
Some great medical advice from Coach Hutchins.
You know she's an expert.
Shake it off.
Yeah, Subject still not putting quite as much weight on that left foot, but
she'll try it out.
Yeah, she'll tough it out. 1-1 the count now on the Michigan designated hitter. Stands in the right side of batter's box toward the back of the box. Holds the bat 45 degrees just above her right shoulder. Takes the 1-1 pitch, a slow curveball low for ball 2. Big hole up the middle for subject. The shortstop, Matea, maybe drifting a little more toward second base. Now back to that third base side. The 2-1. Rise ball misses high. The count moves to 3-1 on Alex Subject. Now the right fielder, Maddie Maloof, is pretty far in out there in right. Subject not really known for her opposite field power, but there's a chance to do some damage if she hits it out that way. The 3-1 swing and a pop-up. That one going to stay on the infield. The second baseman, Lisa Tassi, settles under it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Not the swing you want with a 3-1 count, and 1 up, 1 down for the Wolverines in the bottom of the 4th.
Right, Gillum doing it a nice job all the way around. Just not the best at bat after you get the foul off your ankle either.
Yeah, credit Gillum for not giving in, though. She didn't just groove one, even though she was behind in the count. That brings up Haley Hogenrod, 0 for 1 on the day. The first pitch. That one a riser, called strike, belt high, outside corner. Great location there from the righty Gillum.
Do you think that Gillum has gotten better as this game has gone on?
Yeah, I'd say she's been pretty solid at a consistent level throughout. The 0-1 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul. It's going to make its way over the screen. Land off the concrete behind one of the bleachers, and I think that backspin carried it past a Michigan fan who would have been eager to catch that on one hop.
Trying to make the play.
Yeah, tough to judge those. The count 0-2 now on the left fielder, Hogenrod. She's earned a spot in this lineup against some pretty steep competition in Thais Gonzalez and Courtney Richardson. 0-2 pitch. Hard rise ball misses off the plate away for ball 1. Another good spot, a pitcher's pitch, just trying to see if Hogenrod would chase that out of the zone. Might set up the next one, too. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a fly ball center field, tracking back a couple steps and then settling under it to make the catch is the center fielder, Jacqueline Quetter. That'll be the second out of the inning.
A well-hit ball, but just, yeah, like you said, not enough power on it. I do like the approach at the plate, though. Showing patience and finding a pitch that Hogenrod likes, just unable to get the necessary air underneath the ball to have it clear the fence.
Hit it up pretty well, but, kind of a 2-strike swing. That'll bring up Katie Alexander. Struck out in her first at-bat. Gillum Wines delivers. First pitch off speed, just missed low.
Try to frame it.
Yeah, Davidson held it there for an extra beat, couldn't get the call. Alexander, probably the most raw power on this Michigan team. Nobody on 2 outs. The pitch on its way. That one splits the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. The Wolverines still hold on to a 2-0 lead. Gillum has seemed to settle down out there on the rubber. Giving up a pair of runs today, only 1 earned.
And not a bad pitching test, I'd say, for the Wolverines.
The 1-1. Rise ball tried to get that to come up to the knees on the outer half, and it just missed. Maybe off the plate away. Davidson turns around and asks a question of home plate umpire Tim Clem. Another close pitch. Gillum working quickly. The 2-1, swinging a moonshot foul. Probably going to make its way out of play. It was out of my view for a second. It lands beyond the bleachers. Down that left-hand side, the count even at 2-2.
Yeah, kind of pulled it a little bit. But you're right, I cannot see that one for a little bit.
That one probably the highest fly ball that we've seen today.
I'd say so.
That and 25 cents will get Katie Alexander a gumball. She's still got to do some work at the plate. The wind blowing in with a little more intensity. The rain, I don't think, is falling.
Yeah, not much rain.
Yeah. 2-2. Changeup just misses off the plate away. Almost dropped in there for a called third, but I think it looped above the zone. Fell behind it, if I'm making any sense here. Count runs full on Katie Alexander. Gillum looking in. Gets the sign. Rocks back. The payoff pitch. Rise ball misses high for ball 4. Alexander works a 2-out walk. She's down to first. And that'll bring up Natalia Rodriguez, the Michigan shortstop. Rodriguez, the slapper, 1 for 1 on the day, had a bunt single between home and first in her last at-bat. She's done the job with her glove as well. The efficacy of a slapper, I think, is diminished a little bit when there are runners on base, but there's still room to get a bunt down if she so chooses. Swings, taps one, a high chopper between home and the rubber, and she will beat it out for another infield single. She didn't need to bunt it. Instead, she just pounds it either off home plate or off the dirt right in front of home plate, and there was just no chance of that ball landing in time for anyone to make a play. So Natalia Rodriguez has hit the ball about a combined 3 feet today. No, maybe a combined 10 feet, and she's 2 for 2.
Yeah, nice little finesse to get the ball just down in the field of play, and then you're right, the bounce. Coach Hutchins points to her shortstop in approval.
Yeah, people often speak about the art of pitching. Natalia Rodriguez, an artist at the plate for the Wolverines today. 2 on 2 outs now for Faith Canfield. Pitch on its way. Rise ball just misses, maybe low on the outer half for ball one.
A little low. They're going to get a mound visit right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure as to the which coach that is going out there for the Dayton Flyers. It is head coach Carol LaPlaca. LaPlaca has been in charge of the Flyers for 11 years, recorded 7 straight 20-win seasons for the Flyers, 5 straight appearances in the Atlantic 10 Championship, and 3 straight seasons of over 500 softball, which is first time in school history that's been done. LaPlaca played softball at Clark College, which is located in Dubuque, Iowa. Per Wikipedia, the campus is situated on a bluff overlooking the Mississippi River and picturesque downtown Dubuque. So that's what LaPlaca is about. She shares some words with Gil. What do you think she's saying? Or said, now that she's back in the dugout.
There's just one out that they need to get here, so don't worry about the runners on base at the moment. I'd say just get, they know Canfield is probably going to put it in play, so they can just keep it on the ground and get an easy throw out to first.
The 1-0 swinging a pop-up foul, fisted off the inside part of the plate, up and out of play on the right-hand side. It would be a souvenir for the young man who has picked it up, but most of those balls that leave play get returned. Springing it straight down to the Dayton dugout. 1-1 the count now on Canfield. Runners on first and second. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. The pitch on its way from Gillum. Change up, ducks low. Good eye from the Michigan second baseman. The only Wolverine on USA Today's preseason top 50 watch list. She's lived up to expectations so far this season.
Oh, she's done a great job from the leadoff spot, especially.
2-1 the count. Pitch on its way, swinging a fly ball foul over the screen behind home plate on the right side. Gillum keeping the ball down against the Michigan leadoff hitter with prodigious power. Staying away from the hot spots. The count now 2-2. 2 on 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. Michigan holding on to a 2-run lead, looking to expand. Pitch on its way. Called strike 3. Brilliant location. The throw down to second doesn't matter because Canfield is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning.
Well, they did give him the out anyway. Just if
maybe it rolls over next inning.
If you want to, keep that one in your back pocket, they did call the throw out. So great play by the Dayton Flyers on that.
The rare 2-out double.
2 outs when you need 1.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1. Really a fantastic pitch from Jessica Gillum. A changeup that just dipped back over that outside corner. Pinpoint command. Nothing Canfield could really do about it. Davidson, the catcher, doesn't really have time to register whether or not it's a called strike or ball 3.
And only the 2nd strikeout of Canfield's season.
Yep, and a big one. Came with 2 runners on.
In a big moment.
Now the Wolverines moved to 2 of 8 with runners in scoring position on the day. That'll send Sarah Schaefer back out to the circle. Her lead still 2 runs through 4. We head to the top of the 5th. It'll be Ellie Ziegler, followed by what appears to be a substitute in Catherine Schwartz. Might have come on as a defensive replacement that last half inning. After her will be Maddie Maloof, Jacqueline Quetter, and then the top of the Flyers lineup. A dime of a throw down to second from Katie Alexander, and we're about ready to get this inning underway. It's been a relatively fast-paced game. There have been runners on. There have been threats from both sides, but the pitchers have dominated in this one.
Yeah, only about an hour for 4 innings so far, and as we head into the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, each team still does have a chance in this game, but the Wolverines would have to kind of let their pitching go to the side in order for the Flyers to come back.
First pitch curveball misses low and in from Sarah Schaefer to Ellie Ziegler, the first baseman, a swinging strikeout in her first at-bat. Canfield shaded near the grass over at second base. Rest of the infield and outfield straight away, the 1-0. Looks like a rise ball just missed off the plate away for ball 2. Alexander, the catcher, pounded her breastplate twice after that pitch. Maybe thinks she could have done a better job of framing it or telling Schaefer to, throw right to her, attack the hitters. That's something Schaefer herself has admitted she could use some work on, is learning to attack the hitters, be aggressive out there in the circle as she delivers strike 1.
Well, she was certainly aggressive on that pitch, just right over the plate. No games being played on that pitch, just straight speed.
Well, certainly there's a game being played. They're playing softball.
It's more of a war.
The 2-1 swinging a ground ball through the hole on the left side. The first leadoff hit for the Flyers that has come in an odd-numbered inning, and their third leadoff hit of the game. So Ziegler aboard at first base. Schaefer in a spot about her. You wonder how long of a leash she's going to have with both Tara Blanco and Megan Bobian available out of the pen. About the time that you would pull that trigger.
Yeah, just thinking back to some of the other games, I think the switch is usually made in around like the 6th-ish inning. But say Schaefer earned herself some more stay.
First pitch bunt back to Schaefer, flips over to first, Canfield covering for the out. The runner Ziegler moves down to second base. It's a well-executed sacrifice bunt.
It's the clear intention of that play. And the Flyers, for the first time in a little while, get a runner really on to second.
Yeah, they've struggled to do that so far. That was Catherine Schwartz, by the way, pinch hitting. The second time a pinch hitter has been deployed for the purpose of a sacrifice bunt by Kara LaPlaca. That one's successful. So runner on second, 1 out for the Dayton Flyers. Their biggest threat of the game so far comes here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, next is going to be Maddie Maloof up to bat for the Flyers. She's made some nice plays in the outfield.
The lefty with a square stance swings and taps one foul to the left side near home plate.
Also, I believe there's a pinch runner on for the Flyers at second.
So that would be number 3, Abby Davis.
Yes.
The freshman. Sorry to take that from you, Lucas.
No worries.
As long as the listeners get the information. 0-1 the count. Schaefer rubs the ball on her pants and now delivers. Curveball started high, stayed high, caught the plate, but couldn't find the zone. The count moves to 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out against number 1-1 in Maddie Maloof wearing number 11. Struggling with some words here. It's been a while since I was on the mic, Lucas.
It's also been a while since you were asleep.
That's true, too. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch. The count moves to 1-2. Maloof grounded out on 2 hops to the shortstop Rodriguez in her last plate appearance. The Wolverines would gladly take more of the same. She moves up in the box. The 1-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball. Backhanded stab by Canfield. Throws against her momentum to first base and records the out. That's that short hop you work on thousands of times in practice, but taking that and executing it in game is not necessarily easy. She made it look easy over
It's a nice little scoop from the knee off the dirt, and an even better job to turn around under control and hit the first baseman for the out. 1 go for the Wolverines.
Yep. Good teams make those plays routinely, but still impressive to watch.
And when you have, like you said, USA watch list player at second base, that's someone you can really rely on to make those plays consistently.
Yeah, you expect her to get it done on both sides of the ball. We're going to see a pinch hitter. It is Julia Blar, a sophomore. Hits from the right side, hitting instead of Jacqueline Quetter. The first pitch, swinging a tapper foul.
Dayton's really digging into their dugout today.
Well, that's why they call it that, I think. No, they call it because it's physically dug out.
Actually, literally dug out.
Yeah, I think I took that a little too far.
We're not engineers.
Nah. A lot of these players are. The 0-1 to Blar. Off speed, called strike at the knees. Good change of pace there from Sarah Schaefer. And now a conference between Katie Alexander and Schaefer out there in the circle.
You're going to talk about that one pitch they want to finish Blar off.
Might as well. You never know if Dayton's got sign stealers.
They might.
Up in the football press box.
Hey,
I can't see it from here, but
we are right next to them. You know, they have some really strong binoculars nowadays.
There's a lot on the line in this one. Got to take every advantage you can get. The 0-2 pitch, curveball misses low and away. The runner on third is Abby Davis. 60 feet away from having the lead. A home run ties the game here in the top of the fifth. Blar holds the bat out in front, pulls it back. The 1-2. Change up just misses off the plate away. Maybe a bit high.
A little bit high.
Blar not the tallest of hitters, so the vertical aspect of the strike zone a little smaller perhaps than Schaefer would like. Infield and outfield straight away for the Wolverines. Schaefer winds the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Schaefer pulled the string. Strikeout number 6 on the game for the Michigan freshman from Des Moines, Iowa, getting it done. 5 shutout innings. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Michigan still a 2-0 lead over the Dayton Flyers here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you so much to those of you who have tuned in and stuck around with us, making the 4-hour drive worth it. I'll tell you, Bob Evans was pretty satisfactory.
I'll tell you what, man. I had not really eaten a legitimate meal since, I'd say, about noon yesterday. And that was very, very, very satisfying.
Yeah, I'd recommend the Bob Evans in Oxford, Ohio to weary travelers.
I'd say as a good spot for breakfast. I'd say it's a good one.
Yeah, hit the spot. Gillum will head out there trying to match Schaefer frame for frame. She's given up a run on a strike him out, throw him out, in which Hutch had the runner going from first with runners at the corner. She does that pretty much every time she has runners at the corners. She will send the runner from first base, whether it's a straight steal or a delayed steal. She's trying to them defensively. And more often
make
than
a
not,
choice too. Make a choice. Are you going to throw to second or are you going to protect home plate? So she should, Hutch expects that she should get something out of it either way.
Yep, and she did. Smart running by Canfield to score on the play. More often than not, you'll just see opposing teams concede second base to the runner.
Yes.
But, given how things were looking earlier for the Wolverines and for the Flyers, I think that was a fair trade, more or less.
It was a good choice to go for the 2 outs, and that's in that first inning scenario.
Yep, the second run for the Wolverines, of course, scored on Tara Blanco's fielder's choice grounder. Again, well, that one came with runners on first and second. It was a grounder to second. Tassie did well to flip to the shortstop Matea. At short, her relay to first was wild into the dugout, and Natalia Rodriguez got to score. So it'll be Natalie Peters leading off, followed by Blanco and Falk for the Wolverines. The 2-3-4 hitters in the lineup. Peters 2 for 2 with 2 singles today. Beat out a routine grounder to short their last at-bat. Gillum a long look into the catcher Davidson. Wines delivers. Peters squares to bunt, pulls back, and takes as the ball dips out of the zone on the outer half for ball 1. Peters has her average up to 284 on the season. Still pretty small sample sizes here. Nearer to the beginning than the end of the season. She swings now on 1-0 and skies one into left center field, ranging back and toward that left center field gap is the center fielder, Jacqueline Quetter. She'll have time to settle under it and make the catch for the first out of the inning. A little bit of surprising pop off the bat of Peters, and it looked like she just missed that ball.
Looked like she had a real chance to send that one over the fence and down the hill, but just not quite enough wind behind her, hitting against the wind.
Yeah, not what you'd expect out of Peters. One up, one down for the Wolverines. That brings up Blanco. Gillum winds the first pitch. She's been doing a good job of bringing that changeup. Might even be a screwball. I don't really know her arsenal that well, but it's a pitch that moves from outside to inside from righty arm against the righties. Almost brought it back over the plate there, just missed for ball one. The 1-0, swinging a foul over the screen. Up and in on Blanco. Just fought it off for strike one. The center fielder, Quetter, maybe a couple steps toward the right center field gap. The left fielder, Catherine Schwartz, now shaded maybe a bit toward the line in left field. The infield back and straight away off the lines. Now the third baseman, Budison, moves toward the third base bag. The 1-1 pitch, changeup. That one a called strike on the outside corner, belt high.
Yeah, all the fans and most of the players pretty bundled up, but Jessica Gillum is kind of rolled her sleeves up.
Yeah, I mean, she's been red hot out there on the circle while everybody else is shivering in the cold. 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits surrendered. The 1-2 rise ball, that one outside for ball 2. Good eye from Tara Blanco. Blanco, a strikeout swinging, and the aforementioned fielder's choice turned error and run scored. The 2-2 swing and a ground ball. That one's going to get through on the left side for a base hit. Good piece of hitting from Blanco, staying with that off-speed pitch as it dropped in the zone and getting on board with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th for the Wolverines.
Yeah, good work by Blanco, waiting for the pitch that she really likes, staying patient, and also keeping her eye on target for the ball, not taking an ill-advised swing on an outside pitch.
Thais Gonzalez will pinch run for Tara Blanco down at first base. The Wolverines have been active on the base paths, testing Kyle Davidson with mixed results so far.
They have gotten a couple in there, and definitely not a safe enough lead to where they can let their aggressiveness fall.
Aiden Falk at the plate for the Wolverines. 0 for 1 with a walk. The lefty awaits the first pitch from Gillum. Change up. Ducks low and away for ball 1. Falk, the lefty, stands toward the back of the box, a slightly open stance. Crowds the plate a bit. Rocks the bat back and forth above her left shoulders, awaits the 1-0, swings and rips one foul down the third base line, off the light pole, and down into the home bullpen.
It's pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, I bet you she can't do that again.
Bet she was aiming for that.
It's a neat trick, but doesn't really work to her advantage in the box.
Yeah, maybe she hits that 1 out by center field.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out. Gillum winds, delivers. Changeup called strike on the inner half, just above the belt to Aiden Falk. A good pitch to hit if you're looking for it, but that's the whole point. Keeps the hitters off balance. Falk wasn't looking for it. The count moves to 1-2. Gillum working quickly, gets the sign. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a fly ball foul down the third base side and well out of play. Another changeup low and away. Falk spoils it. The count remains 1-2. Madison Uden awaits on deck for the Wolverines. The infield back. Got to call it double play depth here with 1 out. Gillum winds the 1-2, swinging a fly ball left center field. That one tailing away from the center fielder, Quetter. It's going to one-hop up against the wall. Gonzalez, the base runner, did not get a great jump. The throw comes in, however, to Tassie, who is a couple steps off of second base. And so they will not try to gun down Gonzalez. Falk into second, standing up with a double. And now the Wolverines really threatening runners at second and third with 1 out.
Yeah, just a really well-hit ball to deep center field. Again, I feel like just not enough underneath it to clear the fence, but the damage is done with now a runner on second and third. Wolverines in a great position here. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Madison Uden, the hitter you would normally want in this situation. She's hit in .380 on the season, but she's struck out in both of her at-bats today. The infield in. First pitch, big rip, and a miss. At an off-speed pitch, high and outside.
Jessica Gillum has done a good job in some of these jam situations. We'll see if she can navigate this one once again.
Uden, the lefty, has looked uncomfortable with pitches off the plate away in this game so far. She stands with a slightly open stance. Athletic crouch, squares to bunt, pulls back, and it's a curveball that catches the outside edge.
Yeah, Gillum really does work that outside, especially away from these slapper hitters.
Yeah, the lefties have been worked. Well, at least Uden,
yes,
has been worked by Gillum today. Peters and Rodriguez a little more successful. The 0-2 swinging a pop-up foul over the screen and out of play. But yeah, back to Aiden Falk's hit. That pitch was up in the zone. Might have even been a bit inside, but she's just such a strong hitter. And the wind had died down, so it was just the spin off the bat that carried that one away from the center fielder, Quetter, and into the left center field gap. The 0-2 on its way to Uden. Davidson, the catcher, setting up well off the plate away. Gillum hits the target, but it's outside for ball one. So 1-2 the count. The Wolverines with a golden opportunity to add to their 2-0 lead. Gillum steps off the rubber, now steps back on, gets the sign. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a ground ball back up the middle. That one's through, a base hit. 1 run will score. Rounding third, heading for the plate. Aiden Falk will score. The throw home, cut off, relay down to second, not in time. Uden takes second. The throw from Ziegler, the first baseman, cutting off the throw to the plate. Just not in time to catch Uden. Speedy base running, clutch hitting. The Wolverines take a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, clutch hitting is definitely the best way to describe that play. Right into the perfect gap, away from the second and third base runners as well, in between that kind of second base and then where the second baseman was standing, that gap, bringing 2 runs in and the ability to reach second on her own. Wolverines not done yet in the bottom of the fifth.
Well, when you draw the infield slightly in with the thought of cutting down a run at the plate, that's always the trade-off that you get. A seeing eye ground ball is just a little bit more likely to find its way through. Good piece of 2-strike hitting from Maddie Uden, not allowing the previous failures to get in her head, and that's going to be the end of the day for Jessica Gillum. She's battled gamely today against this Michigan Wolverines lineup, but the Maize and Blue finally breaking through here in the bottom of the fifth, and as you said, still room to do some more damage. 1 out, Uden on second, Subject at the plate. And coming out of the bullpen for the Dayton Flyers will be Jessica Weaver, the sophomore. We'll have some more numbers on her in a second. Weaver hails from Lebanon, Indiana. Last year she was 4-7 with a 3.87 ERA. Started 8 games. Yesterday she pitched against Wright State through 5 one-run innings with 6 strikeouts, giving up 3 hits and 2 walks. Weaver throws from the right-hand side. Where's number 19? Has brown hair drawn into 2 pigtails. I've been told that they're not pigtails. My classification on hairstyles is, I guess, not up to snuff. But you're not going to get any more attempts out of me. Anyway, Subject at the plate. 1 out, 1 on. Weaver gets the sign. The first pitch swinging a rocket ground ball off the glove of Matea and into center field. Rounding third and stopping halfway to home is Uden. Rounding first and heading to second is Alex Subject. That one really a tough hop for the freshman Matea to deal with. But also another chapter in a book that she's not going to want to go back and read after today's game.
Man, Coach Hutchins almost just lost it on as Uden was about to round third. Hutchins yelling at her to stop and eventually just falls down.
Haley Hoganrod almost decapitating Faith Canfield on the first pitch. All over an off-speed pitch up in the zone and sending it straight into the Wolverines dugout.
It's like seeing your life flash before your eyes. Oh my gosh.
All smiles in the Michigan dugout, but that was dangerous. I hate to interrupt you, Lucas, but we got pressing matters to attend to. Runners on second and third, 1 out.
The intensity is picked up, I'd say.
0-1 pitch. Hoganrod squares to bunt, pulls back. And it's a hard curveball that misses off the plate away for ball one. I think Uden would have scored had she
I
run
think she
through
would
the
have scored
stop
too,
sign.
but Hutchins literally fell down yelling and pleading with her not to go.
The 1-1 curveball popped up foul over the screen for strike two. Hoganrod, the hitter, 0 for 2 on the day. A ground out to first and a fly out lazily to center field in her last at bat. The pitch from Weaver, off speed, off the plate, low and away. Hoganrod takes for ball two. Hoganrod, the sophomore left fielder, hitting .260 on the season now. Had a home run and a triple against Pitt last weekend. Swings at this one up and in and pops it up foul over the screen. Those, respectively, her only home run and triple of the season. That was her first home run of her career against Pitt last weekend. Both very valuable in a 3-2 Michigan win. Infield and outfield straight away. The 2-2 on its way from Weaver. Another pitch high in the zone, swung on and popped up foul over the screen behind home plate. Hoganrod mentioned in our interview on Wednesday that you can, again, here on East of the Rockies, the Michigan Softball Podcast, that she does struggle with pitches up in the zone. She struggles both at making contact and she chases a little too many. That one up and out while outside for ball three.
Well, while she does struggle with that sometimes, I think her contributions and improvement over the season have been notable.
Absolutely. Hutch likes what she sees. The payoff pitch misses high for ball four.
Load the bases.
Haley Hoganrod loads him up here in the bottom of the fifth, and all of a sudden, the game-ending run, well, was about to come to the plate in Katie Alexander. I think we might see a pinch hitter here.
Quick sub. Number 5 for the Wolverines will enter the game. That is Abby Skavars.
I just looked up what pigtails are, and no, those are not at all pigtails. It will be Abby Skavars, yeah, as you said, pinch hitting for the Wolverines. Hasn't seen much time this year, but has excelled in the time that she's gotten. This is going off of memory, but I think she's hitting like 385 on the season.
Nice work, Mo.
Yeah, well, big fan of Abby Skavars. First pitch on its way, curveball. Tried to backdoor her, but missed high for ball one. The bases loaded, nowhere to put her, and Carol LaPlaca, the Dayton head coach, coming out of the dugout. Might be going to the bullpen. Well, going to the dugout, I guess. I couldn't really tell if Amanda Cash was warming up in the pen, but yeah, Amanda Cash, the Dayton Flyers ace, will make an appearance in this one. Jessica Weaver got all of, 2 hitters?
And she allowed them both to reach base.
Yeah, not a very long leash, but I've kind of been waiting to see Amanda Cash this entire game. She is a very, very strong pitcher for these Dayton Flyers. Cash, a lefty, is a senior. She hails from Columbus, Ohio. Her career ERA is 1.89. She's been leading the team this year as well with a 1.58 ERA. Only a 2-4 win-loss ratio, but she's thrown 53 innings, struck out 60, only walked 20. And she comes in with about as difficult of a situation as you can imagine. Throws almost, I can't call it a sidearm delivery because, softball deliveries are underhanded, but not quite from right next to her hip.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a devil to deal with for the lefty Abby Skavars.
Yeah, let's see how she handles it.
Seeing a switch up mid-AB. It's not like she really got to develop a rhythm against Weaver anyway, though. This is her first appearance in this game.
No, not at all.
But either way, the situation in front of her, while the ball is coming from maybe a little bit to her right relative to prior, it's about the same. Bases juiced, 1 out, bottom of the 5th, 4-0 Michigan lead. The pitch on its way from Amanda Cash, curveball, right down Broadway for a called strike 1. It's a good 1-0 pitch to even the count, although the unevening was not of her doing. The 1-1, swinging a ground ball toward the right side. A sliding stop by the second baseman, Tassie. Backhand flip to first in time to retire Skavars. The ground out will score a run, but it's a nice defensive play from the Dayton second baseman to limit the damage.
Yeah, good play to stop the ball from getting by her. Just laying her body out on the line and then having the ability to collect it with a quick flick to number 6, Ziegler. But the Wolverines still have a chance to finish this game up in this inning if they can bring 2 more runs home.
Strong defense from the junior second baseman, Lisa Tassie. The lead now 5-0 for the Wolverines. Skvars gets an RBI. It's a productive out. And that brings up pinch hitter Taylor Bump. Bump, a freshman, awaits the first pitch. It's a curveball on the inner half for a called strike 1. That's a crisp pitch from Amanda Cash.
Nice curve.
And she nailed her spot.
It is Cash, if you will.
The 0-1, curveball misses high. The count even at 1-1. The scoreboard shows 2-0, but I'm not too confident in my memory. I'm reasonably certain that it was a called strike.
And you were correct.
The 1-1 swing and a pop-up that's going to stay on the infield. It's caught a basket catch from the charging Ellie Ziegler over at first base. So Cash comes in, limits the damage. The Wolverines get 1 out of bases loaded, 1 out, but also scored 2 runs before that. 3 total in the bottom of the 5th. They take a 5-0 lead through 5 innings here in Oxford, Ohio against the Dayton Flyers. You are listening once again to WCBN FM's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thanks for tuning in. Sarah Schaefer, buoyed by that run support, is back out there for the 6th inning, and I would expect nothing different.
Right, no fear of giving up 5 runs, I'd hope, for her in the next 2 innings. Say that she has earned the right to continue to pitch. She's done a phenomenal job this game, and could be on her way to her first win of the year.
First win. You know, right now she's on pace for her first complete game and first shutout of her career as well. So a chance for some pretty illustrious firsts for the Michigan freshman who's got a bright future in front of her. But still 6 more outs to go. And she's facing the leadoff hitter for the Dayton Flyers in Kyle Davidson. Not Kylie. She's 0 for 2 today. Struck out looking her first at bat. Flied out to left in her last.
And here's an update from some women's basketball after this pitch.
It's a first pitch curveball that misses low and away for ball 1.
That the UConn women's basketball set the NCAA tournament single game record with 140 points in their win against St. Francis today.
Each stat they come out with is more impressive than the last. The 1-0, hard curveball again off the plate away for ball 2.
Think about that, 140 points.
It's incredible. It's 4 10-minute quarters, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Nearly unfathomable.
The right field is Aiden Falk.
Swinging a pop-up shallow center. Shading out toward the edge of the dirt is the shortstop Natalia Rodriguez, and she will make the catch. So a routine pop-out, the first hitter in the inning. Kyle Davidson 0 for 3 on the game, and that's about how you'd want it to go against the best hitter on the Dayton Flyers if you're Sarah Schaefer.
Yeah, Schaefer just trying to get her work done quickly and efficiently at this point.
Yeah, we got to get off air in time for a 2 o'clock baseball broadcast, which will be on the same station. So we kind of hope this game proceeds in timely fashion. Kaylee Budison, the third baseman at the plate now, takes the first pitch low for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, again low, this time a bit outside for ball 2. Budison 1 for 2 on the day today. The Wolverines trying to stay loose on the defensive end. Pretty much everyone has been involved in some form or fashion. The 2-0 on its way, swinging a 2-hopper toward third. Nice stop by Maddie Uden. Fires across the diamond for the second out of the inning.
You've been doing a great job at handling those heaters down the third baseline.
Yeah, she she gave a big smile to Schaefer after that play because I think everybody could see she turned her head away as she sort of stabbed at that short hop. And now practices
So go through it a little bit.
against an airsoft ball after maybe becoming a bit fortunate with that play down at the hot corner. She's a shortstop by trade. She's played at shortstop and at third base. This season she's seen more time at that hot corner. A versatile player for the Wolverines. She's had a good game. First pitch on its way, swinging a slow roller foul down the third base line by Kayla Haberstich, the shortstop. But yeah, I always hated playing third base when I played baseball. Fortunately, I wasn't a good enough hitter to see the field much, but when I played third base, there was always that fear. The 0-1 swinging a line drive, center field. It's going to hang up long enough for Natalie Peters to run in and make the catch for the final out of the inning. Routine stuff for Sarah Schaefer, her third 1-2-3 inning of the game. We're through 5.5. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, Michigan with a 5-0 lead over the Dayton Flyers.
Yeah, Schaefer keeps it short and sweet, and we'll look to finish off this game in the top of the 7th when she trots back out there. Right now the Wolverines bats will go back to work.
Yeah, Schaefer doing a great job keeping these Dayton hitters off balance. We haven't seen a lot of solid contact out of this lineup.
And Amanda Cash, we'll get to see a full inning of her this time around.
Against the top of the order, too. This is what truth be told, I didn't... Man, she has got such a weird delivery. There's so much spin on the ball from that left-hand side. Dips really low as she's winding up to uncoil and go home. But yeah, truth be told, I didn't pay a ton of attention to the matchups immediately preceding this game. I was hoping we would see Cash start the game in the circle for the Dayton Flyers. Obviously, she was a big part of all 3 of their wins in a row. She threw 9 innings yesterday.
Wow. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, she is sort of the workhorse for this Dayton Flyers team. But fortunately, we do get to see her, and we get to see her against the best this Michigan lineup has to offer. She's looking to keep the Dayton deficit at 5. Her team, no runs with 3 hits and an error through 5.5. Michigan, 5 runs on 10 hits. And a sterling defensive performance for the Maize and Blue so far. Faith Canfield leading off, 1 for 3 with a double. Bunts at the first pitch. It's a curveball that was high, and all she could do was foul it off behind home plate. Canfield, a couple weekends ago, went on a string where she hit safely in 11 straight at-bats, and that streak ended when she tried to reach base with a bunt. I'm not a fan of bunts. The 0-1.
None of us are.
Hard-breaking ball misses low for ball 1. Well,
are bunts weakness?
I don't think bunts are weakness. I think they're just usually not a great decision. But you know, when you're called upon to do it, you got to execute. The 1-1 swinging a slow grounder. That's going to make its way through the hole up the middle for a single for Faith Canfield. She moves to 2 for 4 on the day. Yeah, it depends on who you ask, really. Certainly, the Wolverines have leveraged them to their advantage in today's game.
When they're timely, then they can be effective.
Yeah, I'm all about a blanket ban. I'm an anti-bunt extremist.
Okay. I'm with you.
Good to hear it. So Canfield on first base to lead off, and Natalie Peters, who's 2 for 3 on the day, flied out to straightaway center her last at bat. Couple of singles before that. Pitch from the lefty Cash, curveball called strike on the outside corner. Questionable if you ask me. The count 0-1.
Yeah, she must have really barely hit that outside corner, man.
Yeah, Michigan's been the beneficiary of playing. You know, they go both ways, as they usually do.
They do.
Cash winds the 0-1. Peters squares to bunt, bunts it foul down the third base line. That one slowly trickling off of the grass that borders the third base line. I don't even think it had enough speed on it to make its way back fair, even if it had the spin. The count 0-2 on Peters. Infield in at the corners, double play depth. Otherwise, the outfield straight away, maybe a little deeper than they were last at bat against the lefty Peters. Holds the bat out in front, pulls it back. The 0-2 pitch starts high, stays high for ball one. Canfield a threat to steal at first base, second on the team with 4 stolen bases on the season. Yet to be thrown out as well. I think Hutch is going to let Peters put one in play, though. The 1-2, swinging a ground ball through the hole on the left side, and Peters has herself a 3-for-4 day.
She has had a really nice day, and she's done it in a couple different ways.
Really? I've seen 3 ground balls to the left side.
She's used her speed to her advantage.
Yeah, some of them stayed in the infield, some of them made it to the outfield. But yeah, she has done very well today. That brings up Tara Blanco, the potential game-ending run. First pitch from Cash, curveball called strike on the outer edge. Blanco 1 for 3, a single back up the middle, her last at-bat. Wolverines have threatened in pretty much every inning, and hits are starting to pile up. The 0-1 curveball tried to catch the outer half, just missed for ball one. Count 1-1 on Tara Blanco. 2 on, nobody out in the bottom of the 6th. The Wolverines lead 5-0. Cash winds the 1-1. Off speed, off the plate away for ball 2. Infield and outfield straight away on Tara Blanco. At this point in the game, everybody in the Wolverines starting lineup, save for Hoganrod and Alexander, has recorded a hit. The 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, curveball in on the hands of Blanco. She inside outs it foul into the screen on the right side behind home plate.
Yeah, quite a few multi-hit days as well. Starting to pile up, like you said. It's another encouraging sign that this offense continues to stay alive and continues to build some momentum as, like we said, we approach Big Ten season.
2-2 pitch, swinging a slow roller toward the right side. It's going to move both runners up as Lisa Tassi, the second baseman's only play, is to first base. It's a productive out for Tara Blanco. The Wolverines now with 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 out. And up to the plate steps Aiden Falk, who has seen the ball well today. Falk 1 for 2. He had a walk, double into left center field, and even her out was a hard ground ball to second.
Yeah, she's a really powerful hitter. If she can get some solid contact on this pitch, she can bring somebody home.
First pitch, a drop ball and a beauty at the knees on the outside corner for strike 1. She will be facing a lefty for the first time in the game today. Cash gets her sign, winds the 0-1, swinging a rocket foul off the screen left side behind home plate. Cash rocking a thick pink headband atop a dirty blonde ponytail. That is a ponytail. I can recognize that. The 0-2 on its way to Falk. Curveball misses outside for ball 1.
Man, you and the hair now. Ooh.
I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible to our listeners who don't have the benefit of eyes at the scene. 1-2 the count on Falk. Cash winds, delivers, swinging a pop-up, foul left side. It's going to make its way out of play, bouncing off the roof of the Michigan dugout, caroming off the wall and back into the field of play. It's a dirty ball, and Cash will exchange it for a clean one. So Aiden Falk hitting .370 on the season. Never really an on-base merchant. Plenty of power when she connects. The 1-2 pitch, again on the way. Curveball called strike 3 on the inside corner at the knees. Another fantastic pitch from Manda Cash, masterful in that at-bat against Aiden Falk. And now 2 outs for the Wolverines as Maddie Uden steps to the plate.
Yeah, it's a really nice pitch, and it gives her team an opportunity to get just one more out to get out of this jam with 2 Wolverines in scoring position, and at least give her team one more chance in the top of the 7th.
First pitch swinging is Uden, and again a pitch on the outside corner forces her to come up with nothing but air. No balls, 1 strike on the Michigan third baseman, who had a 2-run single up the middle in her last at-bat. And now Coach Carol Hutchins exchanging some words, hopefully some tips on how to hit that outside pitch. Uden has had herself an eventful game, certainly. The infield and outfield shading straight away against the sophomore lefty. Cash fiddles with the ball in her left hand, gets the sign, delivers. The 1-0, a bunt out in front of home plate. Oh no, and the runner from second is Natalie Peters, went all the way to third, and now she'll go all the way back to second. The catcher Davidson not going to risk a rundown in which the runner from third, Canfield, would score. So it's a bunt base hit for Madison Uden. A bad read from Natalie Peters at second base. She was all the way at third base as Canfield was about a step off the bag toward home. But the Wolverines not punished for it. Davidson, a safe play, probably a smart play to eat that one and allow the bunt base hit.
Oh yeah, and with just one out, now you have a force out at any base. So, assuming this isn't a hard hit to the outfield.
First pitch, backdoor curveball, called strike on Alex Subject.
Dayton should have a manageable play.
Subject 2 for 3 with a couple of singles today. She's up with the bases loaded, the game-ending run on first base with 2 outs. The 0-1, swinging a slow roller back up the middle, bobbled by the shortstop Matea. 1 run will score. Another runner rounding third, heading to the plate, and Peters steps on the bag just before the tag would be applied. 2-run score on the error from Morgan Matea. A rough day for the freshman shortstop continues, and the Wolverines add, that is not Morgan Matea, that is Kayla Haberstich back out there. So, no, thank you for the correction. But yeah, another rough day, another rough play by a Dayton Flyers shortstop.
Well, no matter who's been at shortstop for the Flyers, it's just been a really tough day, like you said, at that position. Unable to handle a lot of seemingly routine plays, but just unable to make a throw or collect it off the dirt as you normally would expect them to be able to do so.
Yeah, pretty routine grounder. But yeah, I'd rather be look like an idiot and get it right than look like I know what I'm doing and be lying to our listeners.
Yes.
The first pitch curveball misses low for ball 1 against the left fielder Haley Hogenrod, who is 0 for 2 with a walk today. The 1-0 on its way. Off speed. Curveball misses high for ball 2. So now the game-ending run on second base in Madison Uden. It was a heads-up play for Natalie Peters to score from second on that error. She was off on contact, though, as the bases were loaded. As the 2-0 pitch, a curveball misses off the plate away, and Hogenrod, the sophomore, ahead in the count 3-0. Cash takes a couple steps back behind the mound. Hogenrod steps back in the batter's box, taking all the way.
Yeah, Hogenrod is one of the few Wolverines today that does not have a hit. She does have an opportunity to do so right now.
Taking all the way on 3-0. Now on 3-1, might have the green light. Pitch on the way. She does. She swings and fists one in the air. Over to Tassie at second base. Doesn't have to move. Raises the glove. Makes the catch for the final out of the inning. We head to the top of the 7th. The Wolverines stretch their lead to 7-0 over the Dayton Flyers. And Sarah Schaefer will have some leeway to close things out for the Wolverines if Hush sends her back out there.
Yes, Sarah Schaefer will look to collect her first win and her first complete game of the year here in Oxford, Ohio. Done a phenomenal job so far today. 6 strikeouts, only giving up 3 hits and no walks.
First win, first complete game, first shutout, and her first start ever in Oxford, Ohio. Probably, unless her high school team made it here. Or like a travel team. I don't know.
She has done a great job so far most of the season, just unable to pay off with a win next to her name. This would be the first one and would likely... It comes at the right time, I'd say. You know?
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Just like the rest of this Wolverines rotation, Megan Bobian and Tara Blanca were putting up some solid stats even in their early losses. And, if they keep up that level of performance, the way Schaefer has kept up her strong performance in the circle today, eventually the bats will come.
Yes. So they collect in the pitcher's circle for one quick meeting before they all head back to work.
Leading things off will be Morgan Matea, who was not the shortstop, again, last inning. She initially came into the game pinch running for Abby Ehrenborg, who started as the designated hitter. Matea for 1 with a ground out. First pitch, swing and a miss on a curveball that ducks low. So the count 0-1 on the freshman Matea. Schaefer checks her armband. Gets the sign from Alexander, the 0-1. Looked like a riser just missed low and away for ball 1. The wind has never really been that big of a factor in the game today.
Yeah, it's really died down now as well. The clouds are still here. It's still cold, but
1-1 swinging a line drive right at Haley Hoganrod in left field. She charges to make the catch for the first out of the inning. That might be the best contact we've seen out of the Dayton Flyers today, but unfortunately for Morgan Matea, right at the left fielder Hoganrod. But yeah, I think the conditions probably have had some impact on the defense of the Dayton Flyers today. It's a little harder to judge the ball when the ground is as rock hard as it is after some rain, some freezing. The first pitch fouled back to the screen by the second baseman, Lisa Tassi.
Yeah, really muddy conditions, and when you're running around on it as well, it just continues to kind of rough up the dirt even more so.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it all the more impressive that the Wolverines have been unblemished in the defensive department.
Able to stay really focused.
The 0-1 pitch is a curveball that misses in the dirt low and away for ball 1. Tassie, the junior, 0 for 2 today. Her last at bat, she hit an absolute rocket about 2 inches off the dirt that was snagged by Maddie Uden over at third. The 1-1 good pitch there from Sarah Schaefer. Maybe a drop ball, maybe a riser. It's a lot harder to tell up-down trajectory than it is right-left or left-right for me. Half of the pitches that I'm telling you I'm making up. Anyway, the result's a called strike and the count's 1-2. Pitch on the way, swinging a slow roller toward the right side under the glove of Blanco, but nabbed by Canfield. The throw to first just in time. Beats out Lisa Tassi by a half step over at first base. Blanco almost erred by ranging a little too far from her spot at first base, but she was bailed out by Canfield. Did a good job of adjusting, getting right back to that bag in time for the bang-bang out.
Good extension of the leg. It's a little bit of an uncharacteristic way to get an out.
Huh. So
Looks like they might challenge this a little bit.
The runner Tassie has stayed on first base, maybe at the instruction of her coaches, to try to get some sort of an appeal of some sort.
Don't bend, don't break.
I guess now is the time to be stubborn as Kara LaPlaca sends her assistant coach back in the direction of the dugout. She's going to take it up with first base umpire Tony Greer herself. Honestly, things were happening way too quick for me to know what happened.
It was definitely close.
I couldn't give you a definitive say on whether or not.
This ump might just want to get things kind of rolling here.
Raises the right hand, calls Tassie out.
Out number 2.
So yeah, either way, it was a good adjustment by Blanco. Strong range from the second baseman Canfield, who has passed every test she's seen at second base with flying colors today. And Ellie Ziegler, it's on her to keep the Dayton Flyers alive in this one here in the top of the 7th. Schaefer winds the first pitch, swinging a pop-up behind second base. Coming in to make the catch is Natalie Peters, and that will do it. The Dayton Flyers go 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th, and Sarah Schaefer earns herself her first win of the season, a 7-0 shutout victory over the Dayton Flyers, as the Wolverines start off the weekend right here in Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah, big opening win for the Wolverines. Put up 7 runs, hold the Flyers without a run, and it should be kind of what we expect here for the Wolverines this tournament, but it's encouraging that they can perform at a high level and not overlook any of the competition that they might see.
Absolutely. This is it's encouraging that the rotation continues to show out strong. Everybody in the lineup really contributing in one way or another for the Wolverines. And, setting the tone for what looks to be a good weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we have for you for now from Oxford. We'll be back in a few hours. Their next game against Miami of Ohio is, I believe, slated to start at 4:30. That start time may be subject to manipulation by subject to however long the next game takes. But either way, we'll keep you posted. Follow us on Twitter at WCBN Sports, or, just check the UMich softball Twitter account for updates on game times and more of that. We'll be back with you in a few hours, back up on YouTube, maybe on a different channel, but we'll be broadcasting for you. Until then, thanks for tuning in. For Lucas Vargas, I'm Morris Fabry, leaving with you. Have a good afternoon, I guess, and a Go Blue.
We'll see you soon.
See you later.